The Sisters Grimm podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Please listen at your own discretion. Tiptoe through the window.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The most notorious serial killer in the nation, the Night Stalker.
The Boston Strangler.
The Son of Sam. The infamous Zodiac Killer.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Get away from her, you bitch!
Welcome to the Sisters Grimm podcast.
How'd you do this? Show you.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sisters Grimm podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, indeed. It's been a while.
I don't even know what number episode we're on.
If I had to guess off the top of my head, I would say like 87.
Oh
Great
my God,
year.
really?
The year I was born. Or maybe it's 88, which is...
I thought we were still in the 70s, yo.
I love the 70s.
So we are talking this week...
You lost that fake accent real quick.
We're talking this week about the Chucky / Child's Play franchise.
Yeah, didn't realize there were 8 of them.
We watched them all in the last
2 or maybe
2 hours.
1 is good. And
really 48 hours, honestly.
Yeah, but it is 9 hours of film, and I watched all of them. Morgan has
you watched
seen
all of them.
2 of them. A lot.
Yeah,
so
I'd seen 2 of them
like
enough that I didn't need to rewatch.
But I did.
Sorry, why do I keep going into an accent?
I couldn't tell you, sister. I really could.
Should we try to do the entire episode in accent?
No, I'm pretty sure we probably get a comment about that.
Complete side thing, but I was saying to Maria that the
idiots.
next time that I meet up with someone off of like a dating app, I'm just gonna talk in a fake accent the entire time.
What if they call you out on it?
Then I'll
They're
be like, oops.
You sound muddled AF. All right, so...
Also, there you might hear motorcycles because we are in our parents' attic and...
There's wasps.
And it's nice out, so, there's people vroom-vrooming.
And,
Yeah. That's okay.
So we're going to be having to taking motorcycle breaks every once in a while. We'll call it a motorcycle break.
So we're going to obviously go just chronologically when these movies came out. There's really no, prequels or anything like that with this franchise, which is good because we don't have to be like, but this one technically happened here,
Right. The only place where it gets weird is
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get ahead of myself.
So Child's
the year's
Play.
1998. I am...
Born.
No, I mean, I'm like an infant, probably, at the point.
You were born at the end of 88.
I was born at the end of 87.
Oh, right. Oops.
So, yeah, Child's Play. It's a little boy named Andy. His mom is Catherine Hicks, the mom from Seventh Heaven, which is canceled.
Well,
literally.
just the guy.
And literally. And, Andy... So, the Chucky doll is based off of My Buddy.
Well, so the movie starts with Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah,
Charles Lee Ray, who is
Brad Dourif.
He's played by Brad Dourif. He is the
Lakeshore
Strangler. So it takes place. The first 3 movies take place in Chicago. Well, at least the first 2 do.
At least the first one does.
And he is being pursued by the police because he just escaped from prison. And he breaks into a toy store where there's a bunch of what are they called? They're not Chucky dolls.
They're called Good Guy dolls.
Good Guy dolls. And he does this Latin after he gets
voodoo.
shot.
It's voodoo.
But isn't he speaking Latin?
Couldn't tell you, but I know that it's voodoo.
Well, yeah, it is voodoo. And so, yeah, he does this chant. And it basically makes it so that his body goes into one of the Good Guy dolls, who is Chucky.
Yeah. And a little history about, the look of the Good Guy dolls. I read one article that said it was slightly, or, partially, motorcycle break.
It's you have a motorcycle.
This episode's going to be
It's a lot.
15 minutes longer just because of all these fucking motorcycles.
All right, it's done.
Anywhoozle. So, in the 80s, there was this doll, and it was called My Buddy. Our cousin Christopher both had and kind of looked like it.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
It's like a little brown-haired doll, and he's got a bowl cut, and he wears... The outfit is essentially this.
The ripoff.
Same. Yeah. But the hair...
But it also weirdly does have Cabbage Patch vibes. In a weird way.
A little bit. But it is definitely supposed to be My Buddy, which... So, also, fun fact. So, My Buddy was made for little boys, like, so, to teach them how to be nice, basically, because, like, I guess they were being assholes.
Yeah.
And then they also came out with Kid Sister, which was for girls.
What was her name?
Kid Sister.
That was just her name.
Well, the other one's name was My Buddy.
Oh, okay. That tracks.
My Buddy and Kid Sister. And I desperately wanted one, and I got a Teddy Ruxpin, which is way creepier, and that's the bear that you put like a cassette tape into his ear.
Well, it might have if it had been possessed by a murderer.
Yeah. So anyways, the first one,
so the mom is working somewhere, I think Michigan Avenue.
Scott. She works at Carson Perry Scott on Michigan Avenue.
Wow. Those are closed now, right?
Hard closed.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a Bergner's honestly, I have no fucking clue. Yonkers, Bergner's, Carson Perry Scott, and Carson's.
And JCPenney's?
No, JCPenney isn't under that umbrella, but all of those. And, yeah.
Anyways, so she's working her well, it starts with her, it's Andy's birthday, and she gets him clothes, but she meanly puts them in a huge, like, Chucky-sized box. Because Andy's obsessed with the My Buddy. He really wants one, or the good guys.
Good guy, yeah. And he gets a child-sized pair of jeans in a box large enough, because Chucky's big.
Chucky's huge.
Chucky's, like, almost the same size as Andy.
Almost bigger.
Like,
his head is huge.
The head is much bigger.
Yeah.
This was not the case with My Buddy, unless maybe you were very young when you got your My Buddy.
Right.
So, you kind of it's like a slow burn, kind of, because it is the first movie, and they kind of wait. But, Chucky is always, like, he swears, I think, the most.
Which I love.
He also talks the most out of any of movie killers. I think I would probably say, although you know what, Jigsaw's pretty chatty.
Yeah.
But he's definitely the most foul-mouthed.
Yeah, so basically,
most sexist.
The mom gets him from a
street
guy who's selling it, and it not knowing that it has been possessed with this serial killer, gives it to his son, and then weird things start happening.
Yeah, so like the babysitter dies and like all this shit happens, and of course Andy's like, it's the doll, and they're like, no, it's not.
Right.
Just once in one of these movies I would like for the kid to be believed first thing.
Oh, if my kid told me something was possessed, I would believe them, no questions asked.
Yeah, I wouldn't make them look like an asshole in front of the Chicago Police Department, that's for sure. So, so Chucky, he needs to get out of the doll body.
So
he's constantly trying to get into, well, in the first movie is Alex's body, because he has to, Andy, because he has to inhabit the body of the person who he revealed himself to first.
Yes, which he finds out when he goes and visits his friend who taught him all about voodoo, who he then kills. Which was like, okay.
He's a serial killer, man.
Yeah, that's true. So he also goes and he kills, one of his, old buddies, explodes a house, and they somehow think Andy maybe was a part of that, too.
Don't know how. He's 6.
Don't know how they think Andy did that.
6-year-old child.
But I will say that I did really like the movie. I had never seen any of the actual Child's Play movies, so none of the Tom Holland directed ones until yesterday. And I did really like the first one. I thought it was fun.
I really like the first one.
You don't?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really to say about it.
Not really, because it's the starter,
Directed by Tom Holland, written by Don Mancini, who writes, I think every single one of these is written by Don, and he does direct a couple later on, which we will get to.
I don't think he had anything to do with the last one.
No, I don't think so either.
This movie got a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
that's decent.
That's decent, and I think it's fair.
I think it's fair. Okay, so we're moving on now to Child's Play 2.
Child's Play 2 holds a creepy place in my heart.
I would say this is a lot of, like, people who are really big Chucky fans. This is probably their favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which totally...
tracks. I mean, Kyle, we
love Kyle.
In this movie, so the mom...
From the first movie.
The mom from the first movie is, like, sent away or something.
Yeah,
and
we're to believe that she's in a quote-unquote insane asylum right now.
Yes, and Alex... His real name's Alex.
The actor who plays Andy's name is Alex.
And we kept calling him Tommy also. Yeah. Because of Tommy Doyle from the Halloween movies, probably. So anyway, Andy is is a foster kid, and
he goes into foster care.
Foster sister, I guess, is this like cool ass bitch named Kyle. And this movie came out in 1990.
Yeah,
by the way.
He gets adopted by what I think is a really nice mom. Oh yeah, you're right. He's just being fostered. The mom is really cool. The dad, not the worst, but kind of a dick.
He's a pretty big dick. He dies, and it's justifiably so, I think.
Yeah.
He does some not cool stuff.
We do love Kyle, though, who is like, she's sort of like been through the foster care system her entire life.
She's 17.
She's, one of those like smokers.
Yeah, they don't care.
She's very like early 90s punk.
Oh, God, yeah. No, she looks like, she dresses like Doug's sister in the Nickelodeon show Doug. I can't remember her name, but she looks like a beat poet type.
Yeah, totally.
person.
Which I live for, honestly.
So the promotional, I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast before, but the promotional thing they had for this movie when it came out on VHS, I remember going to the video store with my dad, and I was 3 years old, and I just remember it was Chucky, and he was sitting behind a Jack in the Box, and had scissors, he was gonna cut his head off, and 3-year-old me just could not comprehend
how scary
why a doll would do that. I didn't understand satire, and then I was looking for that promotional cardboard cutout thing. It's been sold already, but I found it for $600.
That's crazy.
I know, but yeah, it's one of my earliest memories, and that's what made me always think these movies were.
This is a weird
so
and
scary.
total side note, but have I ever told you about how in our basement of our old apartment we found a huge life-size posters of Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah, because you brought them.
Oh yeah, we took them.
You brought them up into your apartment.
Mike still has them.
Physically saw them.
They're crazy, but
they are crazy.
I wonder if they're worth any money.
No.
You don't think?
No, I'm sure that they were just given out at movie theaters.
It's
and
huge.
Someone who worked at a movie theater probably left them there because they didn't want them.
Yeah.
So honestly, maybe it's just because we watched them back to back, but the first and second movie almost blend together for me. But the end of the second one is the coolest because they're in. Well, actually, okay. So I think what's important to point out or to talk about is how Chucky is reincarnated, because it is incredibly
kind of convoluted.
Inconsistent. It's convoluted. The only thing that stays constant are the words.
Yeah, it's always that same Abe Due Dumbala.
Something.
Give me the power, I beg of thee.
Something like
Abe Due Dumbala.
Yeah, you hear that about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Between that and you see so many Chucky-sized boxes in these movies.
And suitcases. Everyone's on the move.
Everyone's moving. Everyone's almost moving. And
it was less of a theme in the later movies, but
it was the first three for me, and because they were the old school suitcases, but it's everybody was packing a suitcase every drop of the hat. So,
but yeah, the end of the second movie I think is extremely iconic for the franchise when they're in the this
toy factory.
What is it? A factory? Yeah, with all of the dolls.
So Chucky gets completely fried and destroyed at the end of the first movie.
How does he die in the? Excuse me. How does he die in the first one?
He is set on fire, and they think he's like done
yeah. And then they like shoot him a bunch.
Yeah. And so then the toy company wants to remake him to prove that he wasn't possessed,
which is confusing.
So the head of Chucky, which we're supposed to believe in this instance is where his soul is.
Yeah, just
he gets
the head.
a new body, and so but it's his head, and so it's him again. And so that's how he comes back in the first one. And so in the second one, he dies literally by having so much hot liquid plastic,
but also by being like, oh, it's just a bunch of different stuff.
And
it's fucked up. So another
so
thing that
gross.
happens too is that he is getting more and more human in the body, whereas like he's bleeding, he's
getting a dick,
being in pain, yeah,
bloody nose.
And so what he's trying to prevent from happening is that happening even more, and so he keeps trying to inhabit Andy's body and failing every time.
One of my favorite lines was when Kyle and Chucky are in the car and they get pulled over and Chucky's nose starts bleeding and she's like, you know, dolls that pee, this one bleeds. And the cop is just like, well, all right, guys, have a great day.
Well, you have a good night. It's fine that you were speeding and don't have a driver's license.
They literally get away with it. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh my God, you have one of those good guy dolls. I love those. Get out of here, you funny kid.
That's happened to me one time with having Tuesday in the car with me when I got pulled over. Like, I could tell that he just thought the dog was cute. Was like, all right, you can go.
Every time I've gotten pulled over with her in the car, she like spazzes out. But
she's pretty chill.
Who's all? So yeah, that's how 2 ends. And so in the third one,
well, what's the rating? The
44.
Really? You'd think it would have had a higher rating because people like it so much more than the first movie.
It did.
That's not a very
pretty
good...
bad,
huh?
And people like it, and I liked it.
I guess all of these movies are a cult classics, so none of them are rated super high. I'm guessing the first one has the highest rating. Am I right?
You were very incorrect.
Yeah. Incorrect.
Okay. So Child's Play 3 starts out with the blob, like it looks like the shunting scene from Society.
But that's also how it ends in the second. It looks like the shunting scene in Society.
Yeah. So the like gelatinous, viscous, gooey, like
bloody.
They're like dragging. They're like some sort of crane in the factory picks it up, and as it's like being carried over this big vat of plastic, some of his blood drops into it,
and it starts boiling.
It starts bubbling, and that is how Chucky is reincarnated in the third movie.
And so because he's reincarnated that way in this movie, he realizes that he doesn't have to only inhabit Andy's body, because now that he's technically in a new body, he can inhabit another person's body.
Right. So, but also, this movie takes place 8 years.
For no reason.
But the beginning scene is literally had to have happened moments after the beginning of the end scene.
No, because
the second movie.
No, because the
it'd been closed down for so long.
Yeah, the factory looks so like decrepit and like dusty and old. So that makes more sense now that it was 8 years later.
Okay.
But it's also like, so they just never stepped foot in that factory again after all that happened? Okay.
No, yeah. So then the second one definitely has to take place in Chicago then for that.
Yeah.
And then also the beginning, at least, of the third one.
He likes shipping himself to places a lot. He's always shipping himself somewhere.
Yeah, he's like, put a stamp
FedEx.
on top of my head. I'm going to mail myself to you.
So the third movie not only takes place 8 years later, but it takes place with Andy in a military school, which we don't know where it is. It's an undisclosed location.
It's
probably
Kent.
somewhere in Illinois. Kent.
Don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it's supposed to be. But he gets there, and there's like a really the dude whose only job, it seemed to me, was to cut people's hair.
Yeah, there's a weird military barber there who makes no sense. He's played
like
by
a
the
serial
guy
killer.
who is the dad in the first Hellraiser movie.
Yeah.
So he's like weird and creepy and like
He
horny
saves the
about
hair.
cutting hair. Yeah, it's
he
very
dies,
strange.
obviously, by like a barber shaver blade thingy.
Yeah, of course. He likes slitting throats. Chucky does.
For
I feel
being
like
the
there's
strangler.
for being the strangler, he does a lot of just throat slashing.
Well,
you can't strangle.
He's
as a
smaller.
doll. Yeah, that's true.
He does strangle some people.
So Andy's at this school, which is assumedly for like bad kids.
It's
would you say?
No, I think it's people. I think it's I think Andy gets sent there because he has nowhere else to go. He's like a ward of the state sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I do think it seems more like a stepping stone for kids who do want to get into the military. Like, it didn't seem...
Okay, yeah,
because,
that
like,
makes
the
sense.
girl character, and she seemed like she genuinely was into the army stuff.
Well, what didn't make sense to me was their, like, commanding officers were, like, the same age as them. That made no sense.
I think that's common, though.
Is it?
Well, there's, like...
Yeah, I guess that is kind of the TN Cadet Kelly, which is my only knowledge
frame of reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, what interesting, creepy part of this movie, I guess. So they're doing like a war games reenactment thing. So there's like a red team and a blue team, and they're using paint guns. But before the games take place, Chucky, little bastard, switches some of the paintballs with live ammunition, which doesn't make any sense because it's not like those are easily interchangeable. Like, the same thing that causes, like, a gun to go off is not the same thing.
Right.
That, you know, like, you can't, like, in bullets and paintballs are not interchangeable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so, like, they're, like, you know, playing the game, and then one of the guys straight up shoots him.
Yeah.
Scary.
And so the new kid that he's trying to inhabit is a young boy named Tyler, which in my opinion is just kind of fucking stupid on Chucky's part. Like, why wouldn't have he had tried to inhabit one of those like big buff dudes?
Well, I think...
Why are you picking another like 8-year-old?
I think he wants to be in kids because what we find out in the later movies, like, they're the least, you know, likely to be a killer.
Okay, that
People
makes
won't
sense, but
suspect
also
them.
it seems like they're the hardest to possess because children are so,
I don't know. I think he's also just bad at possessing.
Yeah, he
until, like,
is
the
actually
second to the last
really
movie.
bad at it.
Up until the second to last movie. The second to last
then he
movie,
gets real good.
He's very, very good at it.
And technically we could consider that the last movie because the remake is really its own thing. It's fully its own thing.
Oh, it's fully its own thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really have anything to do with the others.
It's not canon. It's not canon. It's
The
not canon.
girl Perry who's in it is the wife of what's his face from Entourage. Holly and I figured out.
Gold.
Ari
you have
Gold.
to say the name. People are just gonna know what's his
I
face.
couldn't think it, but I knew you would.
So Child's Play 3 came out in 1991, and it got a whopping 29%.
For coming out one
the
year
worst.
later, for them to do an 8-year time jump, it was stupid. I don't think it was a great idea.
So it technically
I think,
takes place in 1989.
So I think the fans of this franchise would have been much happier if they had just made Andy, because there were kids who were Andy's age at that military school, so he easily could have just gone there at that age. But for some reason, they decided to make him a little older.
Maybe the kid
I
didn't
thought
wanna
because
come
they were
back.
going to try to give him a love interest with that one Perry girl, but that didn't even really happen. They just like a little flirted, but like
Right.
barely.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So Chucky, like, fucking, I think, like, explodes at the end of this movie.
Yeah, doesn't he like get like thrown into like a metal thing that like cuts
Yeah.
him up and all that shit? Yeah, so that's what happens there.
So, yeah.
What did that one get, Rotten Tomato wise?
29, remember?
Yuck.
The lowest
This one got the absolute lowest of all of them.
of all of them.
I would agree. It was not good. I did not like it.
I like it more than some of the other ones, I think. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. It was really not. It didn't make sense. All right, so now we are getting into my personal all-time fave of these movies, Bride of Chucky.
It's cute.
What's so good about it, we'll go into the actual storyline in a second, but not only with Jennifer Tilly / Tiffany did they make a character that's just as good as Chucky, I think she's a little fucking more entertaining than Chucky.
I like her
And
more
they
than
needed
Chucky.
it. They
She's
needed that
better.
to kind of change up what was going on because the Andy thing was getting a little tired. And so I think what they did with Bride of Chucky was brilliant. This was the only movie that I had seen ever. I had never seen any of the other ones. I just really liked this one. I like how like metal it is.
I hate how it starts. I know you're probably going to disagree, but I hate how it starts.
I'm so nostalgic for this movie.
With
There's nothing negative that I have
the
to say.
fact that it's like I don't
It's like
understand.
an evidence locker.
I don't know why has it all been collected as evidence.
Why wouldn't it be collected as evidence?
They're making the assumption that all of those events that happened in. Okay, so what I'm saying is, in evidence, you see like the Michael Myers mask. You see chainsaw. You see Freddy's thing. That didn't all happen in the same jurisdiction.
Well, no, I think it's like a specific place for all of this kind of stuff. It's like how they have like certain stuff from serial killers in certain areas. You know what I mean?
No,
it's a stretch, but it totally works for me.
I thought it was evidence, but then I was like, well, maybe this is like a horror memorabilia place, but no, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like an evidence locker, and
but
so
I get it, the joke, but
Tiffany hires a cop to go in to get the Chucky for him, but then she murders him and is like, LOL. And then she brings him back to her dope-ass trailer where she has a clawfoot tub, which is iconic, and she brings
dolls
him back.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because you've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah.
Maybe you can answer or no. Do you think that she had the obsession with dolls? Because I cannot stress how many dolls she has. I paused the movie at one place. She has a framed picture of a doll. Did she like dolls before she found out that her ex or like lover?
Because the
idea
idea was that like they were dating before he got arrested.
Yes.
I guess. And she's also evil. Like she also murders.
Yeah, like, and she's like horny for it.
Because
she starts dating Alexis Arquette and he pretends to kill someone, and she's like, ugh, lame.
Ugh, yeah, she's not into it.
So she rebuilds Chucky. So this is how Chucky comes back this time.
She seems like she's kind of, and this might be getting too like into like whatever, but
go there.
She seems like she's probably a little like, what is that called when people are delayed, where they like they're mentally younger than they physically are?
Do you think Tiffany
Totally.
has mental? Okay,
I think and so she probably just loves all kind of dolls and toys and girly things like that. But then she also loves like leather and like paints her nails black and wears black lipstick, and she's just fucking cool.
The makeover scene for the
doll
that goes from
she
looking like fucking Charlotte from Sex and the City. Like, I don't know. When I think of like wedding, like women, I think of her for some reason.
Yeah, so she brings Chucky back to life with the what is it, Adu something Dembula, and then he kills Alexis Arquette, and then she thinks that he's like in love with her, and she thinks that he had left a ring for her, but he was just like, oh, I cut that off of someone I murdered. I didn't like mean to leave it for you.
Yeah, he's like, that's worth $65,000.
And he like laughed at her and was like, haha, you actually think that I like loved you and wanted to marry you. So then she locks him up.
They have a in a playpen. She's like,
why does
you're
she
my
have that?
baby now. Yeah, she does have whatever.
So then she's taking a bath. She gets electrocuted by Chucky, and then Chucky turns her into...
While watching Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes, which is like, chef's kiss. This movie's great.
But also,
this movie was made by
Bride
Ronnie
of Frankenstein's
Yu.
Monster.
Speaking of Freddy vs. Jason, this movie was directed by Ronnie Yu, who also made Freddy vs. Jason. So he's really good at, like, breathing life back into franchises that, like, need it. I will say, because I think he does great with both of these movies. Freddy vs. Jason, not as much, but with this one, he did some real iconic stuff.
I respectfully disagree, but that's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions. I just don't think they're as fantastic as you think they are.
Good for you.
Okay, Morgan. John Ritter, the late John Ritter, is in this movie.
R.I.P.
Katherine Heigl's in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know who the guy is who plays
Jesse. No,
but yeah, so it's about a couple who she's like adopted by John Ritter, and he won't let her do anything. So then they like run away together, and then Tiffany hires Jesse, who is her like neighbor at the trailer park, to basically drive these dolls somewhere. Where do they need to go? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but they go to Las Vegas or Reno or something, and they get married. Because they get married. The kids get married, because she's 17, Katherine Heigl, in this movie.
Yeah.
And then they also get married.
Yeah. How do they get married?
They go to like one of those little chapels.
What if she's not 18?
I don't know.
Who knows, dude? So anyways, yeah, at the end, Chucky and Tiffany, like, kind of go at it with each other, like, in the midst of trying to, like...
It's a really dysfunctional relationship.
Oh, my God, yeah. And then how do they both die? I don't even remember.
So, they're at, like, the graveyard, and basically they just keep shooting each other, and then you don't really know if she dies in the end.
She
because
burns too, right?
Yeah, she gets burnt real bad. Honestly, she looks good. But then it ends with her giving birth to a baby.
Oh, yeah.
And so then, who knows what happened to that doll? Assumedly, they got ruined because, well, I mean, I guess we'll get into it in Seed of Chucky. So
we can
this
just
one,
get there.
well, yes, because in Seed of Chucky they have a kid, but they're reincarnated in that they pull like a Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where the beginning of the movie you think is the movie, but actually it's a movie within a movie.
Oh, yeah. But what did Bride of Chucky get before we move on to Seed of Chucky?
Bride of Chucky got...
And what year did it come out? Because they say it's supposed to take place...
A couple months
after the third movie. But it actually came out like...
So it tracks.
It came out like, what, 8 years later?
Yeah, it tracks.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it got a 46.
Planned, I'm sure.
46.
Okay.
So Seed of Chucky... Within the first minute of the movie, the screen is covered in jizz.
Yeah. It's very jizz heavy. Semen heavy.
It also begins with like the exodus of sperm from the testicles going to fertilize an egg. And honestly, it looked so bad. It looks better in what's it called? Look Who's Talking.
Never seen that.
The beginning is like
they might be ripping
sperm
off of that.
Going, well, it looks shit. Yeah. It looks super shit.
There is a multitude of problems with the Seed of Chucky, but I am going to go out on a limb and say that I still think it's the second best of all of these movies. And I'm coming from a place, again, of nostalgia because I liked Bride of Chucky so much that when Seed of Chucky came out, I liked it.
Well, as a person coming like from 16. Reason, a place of reason, it's bad. Why does he have spiky teeth?
Don't know. Have no idea. I don't know if Glenn/Glenda is actually their child or if they just stumble upon him.
Lyme disease. No, she gave birth to him at the very end of that movie, and then he somehow ended up in England.
And has a British accent.
Yeah, that's why he has a British accent. That's at least explained. Because he grows up at that house of that little girl, and then he gets taken by, like, a dude who uses him as a ventriloquist.
This one is very,
stupid.
I was going to say, like New Nightmare, because also Jennifer Tilly is playing herself, Jennifer Tilly.
And there's Redman playing Redman.
That, too. You know who else is in this movie? One of the girls from S Club 7.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hannah? Are you fucking kidding me? Love that bitch.
Hannah getting down on the floor.
Love Hannah.
Or it's Hannah screaming out for, yeah.
S
Club.
Ain't no party like an S Club.
I'm gonna show you out, yeah.
That is a special little shout out to all the people who hate
also
it when
British.
we sing. Yes. Or Australian. I think British, but anywho's all.
I think they're all English.
So,
yeah, Redman's in this for no reason.
He's making a movie about the Virgin Mary, and Jennifer
So
Tilly
crazy.
is like, but I want to do it.
And he's like,
which is honestly fucked up. But like, because like, why can't she be the Virgin Mary just because she doesn't look like it? Fuck them. We don't know what the Virgin Mary looked like. She clearly wasn't that virginal because she was. I mean,
she's supposed to be really beautiful.
Let's not get into it. But anyways, this movie is just so weird.
It is. It's very. They're trying to also do the very like Hollywood thing where there's like a fake Britney cameo.
They kill her.
Then they kill her while like saying and Chucky literally says, "Oops, I did it again."
It's pretty fucking stupid.
And then are there any other like really big like LA tropes? I'm trying to think. The intestine scene is really gross.
Yeah, that's so LA.
That's so LA.
But shoot. Oh, John Waters is in it as the paparazzi.
Oh, yeah.
He got a role because he said he really liked the movies.
Cute.
And I actually do like the picture that Chucky takes with Glenn/Glenda/Shitface is really what he's called for the beginning part of the movie. So Let's stop talking about this movie. Let's get to the very end, which
What
doesn't
did it
make
get,
any
though?
fucking sense.
Oh wait, yeah. Say that, and then we'll talk about. I'm very intrigued as to what it got. 'Cause I think it's better than the third movie. Definitely better than the third movie. I don't care.
So
what
does
anyone
Rotten
else
Tomato.
says. Okay, good.
Oh,
The acting is at least better in the third movie.
it's a 34 for Seed of Chucky. It got 34%.
and the third movie got a 24.
29.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
I do think that Seed of Chucky is better than the third one.
Okay, good.
You know what? I do like Seed. I
Fuck you.
they're
You
good.
just said
no,
you
I
didn't.
don't. I don't like it, but it's more.
It's way easier to
watchable.
watch than a lot of
It's
the
more
other ones.
watchable. Like you have fun watching it, even
Because
though it's
Jennifer
really,
Tilly's
really
so
garbage.
good in it,
Exactly.
you know?
At least they have Jennifer Tilly. If they didn't,
Oh, and there's that weird
what?
scene in it too, where like some little girl gets him, and then he like murders the entire family.
yeah, that's the British family in the beginning.
Yeah, there's
right?
a lot of weird stuff that happens.
So then it ends with So Tiffany the doll and Chucky the doll want to inhabit the bodies of Jennifer Tilly and Redman, but then they kill Redman, and so they want her to inhabit, or Chucky's going to inhabit the body of her chauffeur.
who they are having an affair.
Yeah, and so Chucky jerks off into a cup while masturbating to a Fangoria magazine.
Tracking. That tracks.
And then he
Artificially inseminates.
they use a turkey baster to make her pregnant,
So
and
gross.
because it's magic, she has
Yeah,
the
she
baby
has the
within,
baby really
like,
fast.
3 days. And she has twins, and
Nothing ever comes from them.
no, well, okay, so the one baby, the girl baby, there's a girl baby and a boy baby. The girl baby gets to just live her life, but Glenn, the spirit of Glenn that is in the doll, goes
right.
into that boy baby. So the soul of that real boy baby
He's
died.
Glenn now. Yeah,
Glenn.
that's sad. But Glenn was kind of a good guy. Glenn didn't want to kill.
He had sharp teeth and pissed himself a lot.
That's not his fault.
I liked his eye twitch.
Me too.
I will say that.
So yeah, Seed of Chucky, you
Came out in 2004.
You either, I think, really enjoy or really hate this movie.
If you are going to
Or
watch
you're somewhere
Seed
in
of
the middle with
Chucky-
Holly, I guess.
Well, if you're gonna watch Seed of Chucky, watch Bride of Chucky first. Not
At
because
least.
it's better, but because it'll make
better.
more sense. And they're good companion movies.
Yeah.
They're like
I had never seen any of the rest of these movies except those two until literally yesterday.
the Child's Play just gets so crazy because like the first 3 movies that take place, like in the late 80s, early 90s are kind of their own.
Yeah.
And then the Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky are very like millennia, 1999, 2004. They're very much like of that. And
Of that
then
era.
we get on to the 2010s,
Yeah.
which are very, very. They're all just very stylized of their time period.
I guess.
But that being said, the later ones are so shitty, and I didn't know
So
why. I don't know
shitty.
why they did so well.
Yeah. I don't get why everyone likes Curse of Chucky. It's bad. It's so bad.
The doll looks horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. The only
And
good
the-
thing about these movies is the Nika, the character of Nika, who
is Brad Dourif's daughter, and she does do a really good job. She's a great actress. She
She's
was
a
in
great
True Blood.
actress.
She's been in some other cool stuff, and she looks like him, so it makes it kind of cool. But all the other characters, I don't care about. Even the little girl, I don't care about because she's not entertaining or interesting the way that Andy is.
Andy had so much
Charisma.
range, also.
Yeah.
He was really good. She was. I mean, nothing to go against a child, but she
She's
just
an adult
didn't
now.
slap the way Andy did.
Yeah. I hated the sister's character. The nanny or au pair's character is, only there to
As a red
be
herring.
like a twist.
kind
I
of.
don't mind ruining these movies because I didn't watch all of them in 2 days to not ruin them.
I get that.
So okay, the movie starts with, and the story is so convoluted. That's what I don't like about it, and what I don't get that people are like, oh, it's so good. It's this really weird storyline of how Chucky, Charles, before he turned into Chucky, was family friends with this family, and Brad Dourif's daughter, Nika, she is in a wheelchair, and you find out that she's in a wheelchair because Charles Lee Ray stabbed the mom when she was pregnant with her, and it made her.
It severed her like spinal cord.
She's
making
a
her
paraplegic, right? Yeah. And
I mean, it's just not good. I don't know why people think it is. It's
yeah,
pretty bad.
the Chucky
His face
looks
like
awful.
shit.
And what also is stupid about it is like, so he looks so bad, and then you find out that he like takes like some prosthetics makeup. Who the fuck did that for him? I don't know.
Him. It was
and
him.
made him look. And he had the scars again. But if he had the scars again, why is it that he didn't bleed like he has in all of the other movies? He didn't, when he had his head taken off, it just looked like a fake head. When he got stabbed, it was literally feathers that came out of his body. But then why does he have all these scars? That makes no sense. And,
It's very
and
inconsistent.
Don Mancini actually directed and wrote this one. And so since he's the one who's written all of the other fucking movies, with that being part of like the lore, why would he have not kept that in?
Yeah. Why would you go?
Because it also is what makes these movies cool. Because it's weird to see a doll bleeding like a human being,
Right.
Or jerking off. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%, Morgan. I completely agree with you. So that one, unrightfully, in my opinion, and I think Morgan would say so too, got a 76%.
Yeah, that's insane.
It came out in 2013.
That's a joke.
So almost 10 years after Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, I do not understand the love for this movie. I think they made Chucky animated, so like when he walks, it's so weird looking and not scary. Because I liked what they did in the early movies, where they almost made him like Jaws, where you only, or like from Michael Myers, where you would see everything from his POV.
Yeah,
And it
the
made it
Chucky
scarier
cam.
because he'd be like running, and so that's scarier than like him literally walking like his feet are stuck in cement. It made no sense.
They probably used like a lot of CGI stuff too.
Yeah. I liked the house that they shot it in, and that's pretty much like the only good thing I can say about it.
Yeah.
Hated the spaghetti scene. Or chili.
Oh yeah, where like you think
They
someone's gonna get
poison-
poisoned.
They do.
They do, and then he gets in a car accident. That's what ends up killing him.
That's
So
so
stupid.
dumb.
So
These movies were really hard to watch.
they were. So 2017, we have Cult of Chucky, and
Holly and I both agreed we liked this more than Curse.
yeah,
It was more watchable. It was fucking stupid.
it was really fucking.
But
stupid.
at least, like, more was happening.
yeah,
And the characters were better. Because I liked, I really liked the nurse. Both the nurses.
Carlos and Julie. I want to say maybe the other one was.
I don't remember her name. But it was just more interesting, and it was more layered, and there were those two really big like scenes that happened after the credits in Curse of Chucky, where we see Tiffany and we see Andy, which is cool. So it's kind of like a huge lead up that they're both going to be in Cult of Chucky, which they are, but like they're both barely in it.
Barely.
Especially Andy. He's like barely in it.
I wish that was more interesting to me.
Yeah, and Jennifer Tilly is so good. Just let her do it. Like, put her in all these movies and have her be the star, because she can.
And then, so then another thing that doesn't make any sense. So, Tiffany, who was in a doll, whose human body died, inhabits Jennifer Tilly,
Right.
but then the doll comes back.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. But also in the Cult of Chucky, you find out that
there's
Chucky's
multiple
gotten
Chuckies.
really good at, I
Right.
guess it's just like putting himself somehow. It's literally like
Horcruxes.
Voldemort and Horcruxes. He's like splitting himself into all these different dolls. But like
It's so stupid.
yeah.
It's so dumb.
But you know what's even more dumb?
The Child's Play
remake.
2019. Yeah. So, Cult of Chucky did the best out of all these, and
What?
it got a 79%.
The Cult of Chucky.
The Cult of Chucky.
Huh.
Nothing got over 80. Or even hit 80.
79 is high.
For such a shitty...
79 is high.
Can't always trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes, you're trash.
Cannot always trust them. Because
I
Child's
don't even
Play...
think like the first Scream movie got that high of a score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I think it does. I think it's pretty high up
I'm
there.
shook. That's stupid. Anyways. That's crazy.
Right.
I hate that.
I know. So then...
So Holly and I literally just finished.
And it was hard.
Did you hear Shout at the Devil playing outside on someone's motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
That makes me think of Idle Hands, because that song plays like 50 times.
Was that Devin... Whoa, weird. Devin Sawa, because there's going to be a Chucky TV show.
There's a new TV show coming out
with Jennifer Sawa.
Jennifer Sawa. Wait, Jennifer Tilly's going to be in it too?
No, Jennifer Sawa.
Ooh, that would be some hot. I feel like Devon Sawa and Jennifer Tilly in a movie together would be hot.
Yeah,
I would love that.
I would like
or
that.
a show. Is it going to be on Netflix or Shudder? Or?
Couldn't tell you.
They probably
Apple
don't know
TV,
yet.
Who knows?
So yeah, Holly and I literally just finished the 2019
Child's Play.
So
bad.
remake.
So
The only good thing about it is Aubrey Plaza, and she's not really in it that much. And then the little boy who plays Andy is actually really good.
Yeah, he looks like Ansel Elgort.
He's done a lot of acting, and I'm sure he's going to go on to do a lot more stuff. This movie was just written really bad, and like it just went too against.
Super horrible, and it's a completely different. So
Yeah, it's not
my
possessed.
buddy.
It's not possessed by a
Or it's not-
murderer at all.
No, it's not good guy anymore. It's
My buddy.
Buddy. No, it's just Buddy. My Buddy is the real dog.
Right. Yeah,
Buddy spelled Buddi. Because like internet, I don't fucking know. Motorcycle brake.
More just Motorhead coming from outside, which is very fitting for like Bride of Chucky, because it was like Motorhead, Rob Zombie, Judas Priest, lots of good bangers in that film.
Anywhoozle. So I don't even remember what I was fucking saying. I hate his face.
Yeah, so the doll is like, it's basically like an Alexa.
It's like, oh, what is it?
It's so
What's that?
stupid.
Five Nights
This
at
whole
Freddy's.
podcast is just us saying how stupid this is because we're pissed that we just watched all of these movies. And, yeah.
It's like trying to be Five Nights at Freddy without being Five Nights at Freddy, which is a computer game about like that's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese a little bit.
What?
But yeah, there's like, so he's not possessed in this movie. He was programmed by a disgruntled Vietnamese factory worker
Who then killed himself.
who killed himself afterwards. But so he did things like disabling the violence. Like, why would you give these dolls that ability in the first place?
And then what else did he disable? Because it was like violence, and then it was like
Language.
Oh yeah, so he like cursed and said stuff, which was funny.
Like going, basically giving him free will. He gave it free will.
They definitely also, which I think was a little bit to their detriment. I did like all of the kids in this movie, but like Aubrey Plaza was so good, and she was barely in it. And I feel like they saw the success from It Chapter 1, and so they were trying to kind of go in that direction where it was like a lot about kids trying to figure out everything, you know?
Well, and
with
it
like
was
his friends and stuff.
Trying to be like E.T. So they were
Very
trying
E.T. Even to the point where he was wearing like a red hoodie a lot of the time.
Yeah, and it was made by Orion, which made E.T.
Yeah.
But and also the doll's finger glows like E.T.
That was so
And
random.
also, so in these movies, Chucky the doll has like a relationship with like the kid. He's not trying to possess his body. He's not a serial killer. He is just a dumb doll.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh, also, from the previous movies... no, you know what? I don't even get it.
No, just say it. I was going to say, this one had nothing to do with Don Mancini. He was only credited as like creating
Mark
the
Hamill
characters.
did the voice of Chucky.
So stupid. I mean, I get it because it's not actually what's his face anymore, but that's kind of a huge slap in the face. That's like when they made the Freddy remake and they didn't have it be Robert Englund. It's a huge slap in the face, and no one ever likes when it happens. So hey,
I heard
Hollywood. No one likes it when you do that and you take our beloved characters away. So stop.
Mancini liked it.
I don't care what he liked. I didn't.
Wow, Morgan, calm down. Shit. Something happened to Morgan watching these movies.
No. I just didn't like it. I don't know what to say.
It was really bad.
He liked it?
Yeah, he thought it was a good choice.
Well, you can't say I don't like Mark Hamill or you're going to sound like a dick.
Well,
I bet
but
he
you can-
didn't like it.
You can
And he probably just said that.
Okay, Morgan. You're projecting onto him what you want.
What
so
I believe
that's
to
been
be
this
true.
episode.
It's not like Mark Hamill didn't do a good job. He did. He did a great job, but it just wasn't what any of us wanted as fans.
Well,
and I'm
Brad
not even a
Dourif
huge
probably
fan.
didn't even want to go. Maybe he didn't want to go.
I don't know. He did those 2 shit stains in, 2013 and 17. I think he would have done this movie if they had asked him.
T.
Also,
This one
we
got a
didn't get
64.
into this at all, but Brad Dourif makes, like, you only see him in the first movie, but then you see him in Cult of Chucky, and he looks exactly
like Tommy Wiseau.
Like Tommy Wiseau from The Room. Like, to the point where I was like, is that Tommy Wiseau?
Oh my God. It was so
Which
crazy.
also looks exactly like the one killer from House of Wax.
Who also looks like the lead singer of The Used.
No, not The Used.
I mean, My Chemical Romance.
No. What is that
AFI?
band called? AFI, yeah, the lead singer of
of AFI. Wow, Paul.
Thank you for saying that, because oh my God, it would take me a second to think of AFI. But yeah, that was the Child's Play movies, y'all. It was a lot to get through, but I had fun with it.
Why not?
What else are we doing? We're in a goddamn pandemic still. Holly and I are not vaccinated, so we're not doing much else.
Right. So much has happened.
So much has happened since we last recorded, but we don't have to get into it.
Nope. So we're not going to. All right, guys. Follow us on all the places. Talk to us on all the things.
Yeah, please leave us likes and reviews. That really does help the podcast out so other people can find it on iTunes specifically. So rate us, even if you don't rate us well, that's fine.
So if you don't like it when we sing, that's fine. You can say fuck you in the comment section, but still give us 5 stars.
Yeah, I would love that.
5 stars, but then tell us we suck. I don't care.
Yeah, go off. And hopefully we'll have another episode coming out soon.
Yeah, maybe in a couple months,
No, I think we got this.
I mean, I have some notes on an episode we were going to do that I'm sitting on. So whenever we get that up and going, we'll be up.
We'll be
and
back.
going. We'll be back.